podcast because I have just been overwhelmed by the news that's coming out of Utah. Utah Valley University was the site of Charlie Kirk's first of 14 college tour presentations, and he was giving his presentation within the last few hours and has been shot by someone who was either in the audience or in a building 200 yards away. The videos online are devastating. We don't know Charlie Kirk's current condition. I saw one of the videos myself, and it is harrowing. He was shot what looks to be like from a rifle. The shot was in his, came at least out of the left part of his neck. The amount of blood that he lost immediately was so overwhelming. I cannot imagine surviving this shot. I hope to hell he does. Charlie Kirk is a far right wing conservative pundit and speaker and podcaster. He's an ally of the White House. He does not deserve to be shot. He doesn't deserve to be shot. I don't care what your political leanings are. It is the same story I just gave at CrimeCon. When talking about Luigi Mangione, it does not matter what you think about health care. We as Americans can't take the law into our own hands because we don't like what someone does or says. It's not summary justice in this country. And very sadly, it looks like this might be the situation at the Charlie Kirk event at Utah Valley University. I can tell you this, Charlie Kirk is 31 years old, and he has two little kids. He has a daughter and a son, 2 and 1, I think they are. This is a father. This is someone else's son. This is someone's husband. This is someone else's sibling and cousin. You may not like what Charlie Kirk says. It doesn't matter. We lost our ever-loving minds in this country. We cannot shoot those we don't like. You cannot shoot the president. You cannot shoot a campaigning president. You cannot shoot an executive because you don't like their policies. You can take to the streets because we do have free speech in this country. But this is just devastating. All I can tell you right now is that there are mixed messages about the shooter. CNN is reporting that there's no suspect in custody, but Utah Valley University put out a statement saying there is a suspect in custody. This is the fog of war because this has just happened. And again, I also can't tell you if Charlie Kirk has survived this, but my God, the injury that I saw does not look survivable. He was slumped over backwards immediately, immobilized immediately, and the amount of blood instantly that gushed from him just did not look like it was the kind of wound he could survive unless they got on him immediately. I want to bring in Annie Walker, who was at the event. She's joining me live on this YouTube broadcast for Drop Dead Serious to tell me a little bit about what she saw from the vantage point she was in. Annie, I'm so sorry that you've experienced this. It's something that none of us should ever go through in America, and sadly, more are. Can you take me through what you witnessed, where you were, and what you saw happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had heard about this event for the past couple of weeks. It had been very heavily marketed. And so my friend and I decided that we wanted to go. We went about an hour early to try and find a good place to sit. And we ended up, to kind of paint the scene a little bit, it's a big outdoor amphitheater type of place. So there's these like almost bleachers, and it is very, very open. We ended up in the middle of the seating area, in the middle of the crowd, with pretty much a direct line of view to Charlie. And so we got there, about an hour before, and the way that these events are set up, it's supposed to be sort of almost like a prove me wrong type of thing. So
That's what it's called. That's what the banner said, prove me wrong.
yes,
It's the
yes,
event where he challenges people in the audience. He's made a real brand of it.
yes. So how this works is a student or someone who's attending the event walks up, asks a question or brings up a point, and Charlie responds, and it becomes this almost debate style of event. So the first question, the first speaker went up, they asked about basically the Latter-day Saint Church. They talked about that for about 20 minutes. During this whole time, the crowd was very rambunctious. there was a lot of back and forth chanting going on from both sides. It was very tense. It was,
Supporters and
yes,
detractors, both?
yes, both for Charlie Kirk as well as against Charlie Kirk. There was a lot to do with President Trump as well as the GOP platforms, that kind of thing. But it was very loud. Behind Charlie, there was this sort of bridge. There were students up there as well, holding up various signs, that kind of thing. So already it was an intense event to be at, absolutely, from the beginning. And yeah, so that first question went on for about 20 minutes, and the second speaker went up. And the speaker was asking about,
You know what? Let
and
me
this
read
was,
it.
oh,
I
yeah,
have the transcript of what this second speaker was asking. So the
that'd be great.
audience member said this, according to CNN, that released this transcript. Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? To which Charlie Kirk responded, too many. The same audience member responded to say that the number was 5, and then asked Charlie Kirk how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years. To which Charlie responded, counting or not counting gang violence. And then that's when you hear the crack of the gunfire. And then take it from there, Annie.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was exactly what happened. And it almost felt like everything went into slow motion at that time. We heard the crack and there was a lot of confusion. Um, my friend and I, we immediately fell to the floor, and I was looking at Charlie because I had I heard the shot. It was coming from my right side, um, and like the video you were talking about, he just immediately slumps over, and everyone was running, and he was swarmed by these security officers. Um, After that point, it was just,
Before you
yeah,
go from there, because the videos online, many of them stop right after you see him slumped over and an immense
yeah,
amount of blood comes out of the left side of his neck.
yeah.
That's where we don't see when he got help. Did you say that his people swarmed him right away and maybe were able to do some kind of triage right away to try to save him?
Yeah, there was a group of a couple of security officers who they circled him, so I wasn't able to see exactly what they did, but I assumed it was they were trying to block the wound, of course.
Could you
Um,
see any life-saving measures going on the stage? Because this is my greatest fear. He was bleeding
yeah,
so terribly that it's unsurvivable without intervention. Did you see some kind of medical intervention, even if it was, from a civilian?
yeah. So immediately after they swarmed him, I was there for a couple minutes after. Um, I heard the ambulance sirens come up, and I watched them carry him out. I wasn't able to exactly see him, but I did see movement, and at that time, I do believe that he was alive and that they were actively trying to do everything that they could
Could you see,
for
did
his
they
condition.
bring in a gurney or did they just carry him as fast as they could to the ambulance?
I believe they just carried him. Like I think that it was just the security officers trying to get him there as quickly as
Could you
possible.
tell, Annie, could you tell if there was someone at his neck putting pressure on that wound to try to stop the bleeding? You could see that?
Yes, from
Thank
from my
God.
perspective, yes. Yeah.
Thank God.
Um, yeah.
And then
It was
once that had happened, where were you left? I mean, there must have still been, I saw a lot of hundreds of people running, but you stayed. What else happened right after that?
Yeah, so I was with my friend, and first we just make sure that each other was okay. And it's hard to explain what your reaction will be in that sort of situation. I always thought my reaction would be to fight. No, apparently I froze. So I kind of was stuck there for a little bit, and my friend he kind of grabbed my hand, and we started running with the crowd. Um, but we were behind the crowd quite a bit. After he was like we kind of were like behind him with the ambulance situation there, but we didn't make it too far, and we just decided to stop, and we turned around and looked, and the crowd was gone at this point. Um, and they were loading him into the ambulance, and so we were just kind of standing there observing, which maybe was not the smartest move thinking back, but that's what our reaction was. And
What was the reaction of people? I mean, I'm
yeah,
guessing most people were stunned, but was anyone saying anything?
Yeah, there was a lot of people. People were asking, was that a gun? Was it just a firework? Was it some sort of flare? People were confused whether or not it actually had hit him, whether or not um, it was a gun. People were confused about who shot him, whether or not they're in custody, uh, that all that type
Did
of
you
thing.
see
And yeah.
any kind of arrest activity anywhere?
I personally didn't, but I was with a lot of people there, and from what we had seen and heard was that there was some sort of older gentleman, and I had seen security officers um, with a man holding a backpack. I don't know if that was related or not, but he was an older
Was that
gentleman.
the man holding the backpack that you said you
Yeah.
saw with security officers? Was that person handcuffed?
Not that I could tell,
Did you
but
see anyone? There's a lot of videos that are flying. This is an
yeah,
opportunity for a lot of people to try to get their political digs in and to make their comments or to just try to
absolutely.
be ne'er do wells. And so yeah, it's hard to sort fact from fiction. There is a video that's circulating of a man who looks to be an older gentleman in a blue shirt with gray shorts on, and he's being handcuffed behind his back. And you can hear an officer saying, "You have the right to remain silent." It's unclear whether he's being arrested at this event, but he's on grass, which would be different than where they say the shot came from, which was 200 yards away in a building.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I personally wasn't totally aware of where the shot came from, as I just heard it coming from my right and I saw it hitting him on his left side. Um, and but when I had just heard people saying that same thing, that there was an older gentleman in a blue shirt who was being arrested in the process. And
Anyone who
um,
actually got eyes on that, or someone who may have seen the video?
yes, I my friend who was there, I believe he saw the video of it.
The video.
Um,
That's why I'm being
yeah,
very careful because the video could be anything until
yes,
it's vetted.
absolutely. Yeah,
People who had eyes on an actual arrest are something very different. Eyewitnesses to an
yeah,
arrest. It's very confusing because
absolutely.
CNN is reporting that there is no suspect in custody, but
Mm,
Utah Valley University put out a statement saying one suspect is in custody. And so it's just
yeah,
hard to get these updates. And of course, the biggest update that everybody wants is Charlie going to survive. And we hope and pray to God. And again, I don't care what your predilection is politically. This is a dad of two babies. There are two little kids who are going to see that video one day that just breaks my heart. You know, I'm a war correspondent, Annie, and I saw that video and I cried because I know he's a man and he's a dad and he's somebody's kid.
yeah, absolutely. It is a tragedy, and I think it just goes to show political violence in any means is cruel and awful. But this was it was an assassination attempt, and it was so crazy because it was 15 minutes from where I live, and so there's often this disconnect that people feel with politics or with these types of acts of violence. But at the end of the day, you never know when you're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, or you never know what's going to strike. And yeah, it was so tragic to
I will
witness.
say that John
Absolutely.
Miller, who used to work, in the terrorism department, so to speak, in New York City, said that without question, the sound of that shot, the target of that shot, the fact that it was 200 yards away, was 100% premeditated, was a long arm rifle, maybe was even stashed there a day before. However, I will ask you this about security. If it's the president or a congressman or someone in government or someone of high profile, often there's sweeps that go on before these events. There are bomb sniffing dogs, there are gun sniffing dogs, and places like that would have been vetted. And even then, President Trump was shot at an event. But I have heard from other people like you, there was no security. You didn't need a ticket. You didn't go through magnetometers. Like, explain the process of getting into this event.
Yeah, so kind of what I was talking about earlier, it's a very open area. And I've been to UVU's campus quite frequently, so I was familiar with the area as well. But walking in, there was, yeah, no, like my bag was not checked. There were security officers there. However, they were more to the side. I did not encounter anyone who would have checked, or there was no metal detectors or anything like that. So the security upon entering this event, as well as it being an open amphitheater style venue, I think that there was just a lot that went wrong in the process, security-wise, and it's sad that these mistakes might have costed him his life.
Well, and we will now, without question, see them as mistakes. But up until now, speakers at universities don't usually require magnetometers and, bomb
Yeah.
sniffing dogs and security. But maybe this is where we've landed as Americans now, seeing that if you don't like someone, apparently you get loads of followers and you get money on your books in jail while you're awaiting trial for execution style murder on this, on the sidewalk of New York. That's the Luigi Mangione story. I literally just gave an address to about 1,000 people in Denver just this last weekend at CrimeCon about Luigi Mangione. And there was a sizable number of people in the audience who believed that Luigi did good work, that he was justified in this killing for whatever their reason was, that United Healthcare is responsible for so many people's deaths in their denials. Therefore, Luigi, one man, was justified in shooting him dead on the sidewalk. And this is the mentality I'm trying to get people beyond, that it is not okay to be judge, jury, and executioner as a private citizen in this country, no matter how vile you find somebody or how distasteful you find someone, or whether you think that someone has done something wrong. We have a system for that. And here I am speaking with you, and you have now unfairly become yet another very sad chapter in American history.
Yeah, absolutely. It is so heartbreaking, and my thoughts go to Charlie Kirk and his family. This is a very tragic time.
Did the police get a chance to speak with you? Could you give them, there were so many people there. I'm assuming they're getting as many witness accounts as they can. Were you able to give a witness account from what you saw?
Not to an officer. I was not. But I absolutely would have loved to. And I did see them on the side of event as I was leaving at the end there. But I personally was not able to speak with a police officer.
And just for the viewers who don't know, where Utah Valley University is, can you set the scene? Because I think right now you're at BYU.
Yes.
Give me an idea of where you are in relation to that, where the campus event was, where this university is in relation to, landmarks that people all across the country would recognize.
Yeah. So I am at Brigham Young University currently, which is about a 15-minute drive from Utah Valley University. And Utah Valley University is in the middle of Utah Valley, up against these beautiful mountains and a very serene lake. It is a wonderful school and a wonderful place. We're about an hour and a half away from Salt Lake City, about 2 hours away from some of the most beautiful national parks in America. And so for something...
And Utah Valley is south of Salt Lake City, right?
South of Salt Lake City, yes.
So this university is about an hour and a half drive south from Salt Lake City?
Yes, yeah.
Can you tell me the this might be hard to gauge, but
Yeah.
the collective ideology of the students there, the surrounding community, is it hard to put your finger on it? Is it, bleeding red, conservative? Is it, deep dark blue, Dem? Like, what is your assessment of the student body and the surrounding community?
Yeah, so in the Provo-Orem area and all of Utah, it is a very red state. So there is a lot of conservative and Republican people at the event as well as in the area. Some of the most prolific events that have occurred have been with members of the GOP. And just overall, it is a very conservative place. And I think that was reflected a lot in the crowd today.
More supporters there for Charlie than detractors?
Yes, but also very loud people against as well. But I would say in the crowd, most people were supporters of Charlie Kirk. Yeah.
Are you going to be okay, Annie, having witnessed this? What you saw is really, really traumatic. Are you going to be all right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely going to take a little bit of time to process, and kind of for the past couple of hours, I truly have felt adrenaline all day. But I think more than anything, I feel motivated to help people in these situations and do my part in advocating against this type of violence.
Yeah.
So I think it'll take time, but I'll be okay. Thank
Well,
you.
take it from me, young lady. Tomorrow is 9/11, and 24 years ago, I was under the North Tower when it came down. And so it's very traumatic to go through things like this. And I didn't do anything about it. I didn't get treatment. I didn't seek mental health help afterwards. It was a different time back then, and I was a war correspondent after. So they don't really, there's not a lot of time for it. And I regret that. So definitely, look after yourself. And yeah, you're running on adrenaline right now, and know that that is going to run out, and you have seen some things. So definitely seek help and be good to yourself. I can't thank you enough for these details and for this firsthand account. Thank you so much, Annie Walker.
Thank you so much. It was great speaking with you, and thank you for being so willing to have this platform and speak out against these things.
Well, it's
It's
critically
appreciated.
important. God bless. Go seek get something calming right now, and go and hug someone you love, and just be with someone. Don't be by yourself. It's my best advice. And again, appreciate your details. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to say a couple more things to my followers who will stay on with me right now. I can't stress this enough. If you've just come into the feed, I was just speaking with Annie Walker, who was live at the event. She was, partially back center crowd. She watched Charlie Kirk in front of her, shots coming from her right, hitting Charlie Kirk in his left neck. She saw him slump back and saw the voluminous blood coming from his neck, which I have seen as well. And it is devastating. If you are sensitive, please do not seek out those videos. It is very painful to watch. As a mom, I just burst into tears. It wasn't about political violence. It was about seeing a man and then realizing he's a father of two little children. Much like, Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, who is the father of two kids, my kids' age, executed in cold blood on the streets of Manhattan. We are still awaiting news on Charlie Kirk's well-being, still waiting to see if he has survived that wound. I hope and pray that the people who were close to him on that stage were able to get to him fast and put pressure on that wound and stop that bleeding, because left unattended with that kind of a wound, it is, in my non-medical opinion, let me just say, it is very difficult to survive a wound like that. But with quick intervention and, like Annie said, ambulances arrived fairly quickly to whisk him away. I sure hope that they could save him. Again, we don't know right now. And this competing news about an arrest. Lots of videos flying online. Do not believe everything you just see in your feed. Be careful. Some videos saying that this is a guy being arrested, a man in his 50s to 60s with a blue shirt and gray shorts, on his knees with his hands cuffed behind his back. But that's not confirmed. And in fact, CNN is saying that there's not a suspect in custody. I don't understand why Utah Valley University has got a competing statement saying there is a suspect in custody, but it is the fog of war. We are still very early in this breaking news event. But again, I think what's really critical is what we've just seen. No metal detectors. An open air event. Oh, God. Donald Trump has just put out the news that Charlie Kirk is dead. I'm so sorry. That is coming from Donald Trump himself. I'm not sure if it's on the White House account. It's a Donald J. Trump truth, saying the great and legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in this country like he did. That is utter tragedy. Let me just remind you, I don't care what he said. I don't care what his job was. I don't care what opinions he had. Everyone in this country is entitled to their opinions. It's what makes America great. And you know what else makes America great? We have a fabulous justice system. No, not perfect, but better than everywhere else I've been. We have a really good justice system, right? We don't take justice into our own hands like this shooter did. This is a Luigi Mangione style, vengeful ideology attack. I don't like what you're saying, so I'm going to kill you. Those who supported what Luigi Mangione did on the streets of New York, that is what spawns this kind of, that's what spawns this kind of murder. This is not us. This is not us, America. We don't become judge, jury, and executioner because we don't like what's being said. We don't get to make those rules because we think someone's doing wrong. Our opinion is you're doing wrong, or you're causing damage, or you're causing lives to be lost. Whatever your mission is, if that's what you so choose, you don't have the right. You may have some supporters out there on social media, but you don't have the right in this country. And this is a great country. And we do consider ourselves a nation of laws. And I am sad if that's atrophying. If this shooter thought, well, if Luigi can do it, so can I, then where have we actually landed if you supported Luigi because you liked his message? I can't say it enough. It's okay to like the message. It's not okay to like murder. At CrimeCon this weekend, when I was doing the stage presentation about the Luigi Mangione alleged murder, I said there's two things I know that are irrefutable, that I can say without defamation worry. I can state these as fact, not opinion. Puppies are cute and murder is bad. Period. And when it comes to this, there should be no celebrating. There should be no celebrating that two little babies just lost their dad and their mom is going to have to raise them alone. And one day they will see those videos. They will see them. Those children will see how their dad died, as the Kennedys grew up and saw how their father died, watching his head being blown off by someone who didn't agree, right? It's just wrong. Yeah, it's just wrong. So once again, this breaking news, I have not done a live stream. I have not done a live Drop Dead Serious before. This is the first one, and I am so sorry to say that it is just such a tragic topic. A man was murdered in cold blood in front of thousands of people. He had an opinion they didn't like. And so someone decided to take a long arm rifle and stage from 200 yards away and shoot him in the neck. And he slumped over and bled out in front of everybody. All those people will be traumatized by that for the rest of their lives. They're also victims of this crime. All of the people who loved Charlie Kirk, because he's a man, right? They will be destroyed for the rest of their lives. Those two children, forever altered for the rest of their lives. That's what happened. You didn't change the message, right? If you support this, that man, that woman, whoever it is that they're going to arrest, didn't change anything. It didn't change things. This is not going to work. Terrorism doesn't work. 9/11 didn't work. It didn't make us cower as Americans. That was way bigger than one man being shot. It was 3,000 being killed. It didn't work. So these things don't work. These terror murders don't work. Healthcare's still going, right? The alleged Luigi Mangione assassination didn't change anything. It just called out people who are okay, for summary justice on the streets of America, which I'm sorry, I'll never be for. I've seen it in other countries as a war correspondent. I don't want to live that way. It doesn't work. It won't change things. We change things. Rabble-rousing colonists change things, right? We change things. We have a constitution. We have mechanisms and vehicles. We can change things. Organize. Go to these rallies and speak up. Challenge him with a microphone, not a gun. Use your platforms. Speak out. And for God's sake, vote. If you don't like what you're seeing, vote. Because there is a lot of apathy in this country. People who don't vote, I'm busy, I moved, I didn't register. Give me a break. None of that counts. Because someone decided that their voice was heard better with a gun. Vote. Organize a voting party. Get a bus. Give 10 people a ride to the polls. If you want to see change, vote. Don't kill, because killing doesn't work. Voting does. We've seen it. We'll continue to see it. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Yes, I do a true crime podcast, but folks, this was brazen murder. This was true crime, brazen murder, political or not. And I'm very appreciative that you joined this. I'm thankful that you watched it. I'm thankful if you listened. And I always, if you're new to this, I always close my podcasts with one thing. I say, the truth isn't just serious.